Hello, passengers. Trainboy 10 here, and welcome back to what'll be no doubt an hour-long video. Welcome back to the home media reviews. Today, I'm gonna be watching Percy Takes the Plunge and other Thomas stories.
Percy and
I
Toby
love how I'm
worked
just,
hard.
I'm just
Thomas's
jumping
recent
straight into this
accident
thing.
caused a great deal of trouble, and so Topham Hatt was waiting for them with important
I'm just
news.
jumping straight into this thing. No
Here is
extended long
Daisy, the
intro,
diesel
just
rail car,
jumping
who has
straight
come
into
to
this
help
thing,
while
right?
Thomas is...
God,
That depends,
God, the
said Sir
camera's
Topham
shaking
Hatt.
so
Meanwhile,
much.
however...
Look at all those lines at the left of the screen there. And then something noticeable to me, first watching the DVD. Yeah,
Daisy was not easy
yeah,
to please.
of
She
course,
shuddered
like,
at
it's an
the
echoed
engine
soundtrack again.
This is dreadful
Because, of course it
smelling. I'm
is.
high out of the
God, this
yard
is
and
such a
back to the
nothing
station.
story. Nothing has happened yet.
Surely, said her driver, you can pull one van. I
But if
won't,
Daisy's driver
said
is on the
Daisy.
platform,
Percy
then
can do
who's
it.
that
He loves
inside,
messing
who's
about with
that inner
freight
cab
cars.
right there?
It was no
This kind
use.
of begs the
It's
question
Fitter's
to me,
order,
like,
she said.
can Daisy
What
feel the
Mike
passengers, like,
Fitter's a very
riding
nice
inside
man.
her?
He comes
Like,
every
I
week
guess
and
same goes
examines
with
me
Annie,
carefully.
Clarabelle, and Henrietta,
Daisy, he
like,
says,
can they
never
feel the
pull.
people
You're
walking
highly
around,
strung, and
walking
pulling is
around
bad for
inside
your
them or
swerves.
something? That sounds kind of weird, but, like, you know what I mean?
So that's how
Can Daisy feel the
invented this.
passengers riding in her?
Stop
There's
arguing,
Mrs.
grumbled the
Kindly and
passengers.
Jeremiah
We're late
Jobling.
already.
I love that, like, throughout the whole. I love how I had nothing to say on the episode itself. I feel like that it lasted longer than it should have. Like, it kind of felt like it dragged. A much better episode right here. Wait, why is Percy passing by Croc's scrapyard? That's on Edward's branch line.
But
Now that
before
I
he could
know
check them,
that
a
the
freight
set
car
that
surged
Percy is
ahead.
on is the same one that Trevor is
They
on in,
cried. Help! Help!
uh,
Whistled Percy.
uh, A New Friend for
The man
Thomas,
on duty at the
like,
crossing
at the end of
rushed
that
to warn
episode,
traffic
yeah,
with
I
his red
kinda can't
flag,
unnotice
but was
that
too
now.
late to soon
And
on
then
his
there's,
perch of
the
freight cars.
a constable there, for some reason. Why is he
We
there?
must now. And Toby has taught Daisy a great deal. She shooed a cow off the line the other day all by herself. That shows you, doesn't it?
No, not really, because we didn't actually see her fear of bulls and cows and large farm animals, since they skipped Bullseyes and didn't adapt it until season 4.
It isn't wrong, chuckled Henry, but we just don't do it. And he told Edward what Gordon had said.
But, like, Edward was there, so... I also find it kind of strange that they show Gordon going
Meanwhile,
over
Gordon
his hill,
screeched along
like,
the line.
after
The
going
noise
through
was
Wellsworth.
awful.
Although, that's a nitpick, though.
Take him away, he bellowed, and stop that noise.
Yeah, I definitely think Ringo did that line better.
Take him away, he bellowed, and stop that noise!
It isn't wrong, murmured Henry to no one in particular,
I don't know.
but we just don't do it. No one mentioned
I
whistles.
don't know why I find that funny.
Next morning, Henry was enjoying himself enormously.
It isn't
I
wrong,
feel
but
so
we just
well.
don't do
I
it.
feel so well. The boys didn't wave and take his number. They thought it fun to drop
What
stones
what
on
does
him
the narrator mean by
They've broken our glass.
they didn't
They've
take
broken our
it,
glass,
like,
cried the coach.
like the narrator says they didn't wave and
The
take his
passengers
number.
weren't hurt.
What does
They
that
were
mean?
cross.
I have no
Call the
idea.
Henry has plenty of ashes, said the driver. Please keep all windows shut till we've passed the bridge. Henry's as excited as we are, aren't you, old fellow?
I have
Henry
some
felt
questions.
more
So, like,
stuffed
did
up
they
than
get new
excited.
coaches or something? Henry's new coaches.
Soon they could see the boys, and they all
Look at how
had
many stones they have!
Are you ready, Henry?
How did
said
they
the
expect
driver.
to throw all
Sneeze
those
hard when I tell
stones
you.
in that short amount of
Now,
time?
he said. Achoo!
Oh my
Well
gosh.
done, Henry.
Good episode. I think it might have to be my favorite on the DVD so far. I don't know why. I don't know why I find it funny.
Sir Topham Hatt works his engines hard, but they are very proud.
Oh wait,
because
missing
they're
coach
really
shot.
Useful.
Oh, Gordon just stops before it
I'm
fades.
going to the what already? You're not that old, replied Thomas cheekily.
Yeah,
Thomas
again,
was only
Ringo
teasing.
did that line better.
What? Already? You're not that old, replied Thomas cheekily.
People say I'm old-fashioned, but I don't care. Sir Topham Hatt says I'm a useful engine.
Yeah,
What work did you do?
I kind of think Ringo did that line better
My
too.
owner would.
People say I'm old-fashioned, but I don't care.
The Reverend is coming to see you, Trevor. Maybe he'll buy you. Do you think he will? Asked Trevor. He will when I've lit your fire and cleaned you up.
The vicar and his two
Yeah,
boys
the
arrived
range
that
of
evening.
voice George
Trevor
Carlin
hadn't
had.
felt so
And also, I did not edit
Show
this,
your
by the way.
faces,
This is
Trevor,
just
said
how
the
it looks
vicar.
on the DVD. I don't know why these shots are so dark. Because, like, yeah, I didn't edit this. This is just how it looks on the DVD, so I don't know what happened here. Yeah, I can't really think about about Trevor's. Like, you know, whenever I hear Trevor's theme, I can't help but think about Warrior from 10's because he shares the same theme.
Promise.
Right, well, good luck then, warrior. And remember, be careful.
What? Whoops. Course I'm careful.
I hope that isn't a bad start to the day for you.
I'll do my best, Governor.
I like children, he whispers happily.
Oh yeah, that sky backdrop, that actually looked very pretty. I love that sky backdrop. I never really paid attention to it before, but I really like it.
Trevor the traction engine enjoyed living in the
Oh,
vicarage orchard.
look, there's like a
Edward came to see him every
little
day.
gap,
Sometimes Trevor didn't have
like
enough
in the
work
trees
to do.
back there, so you could see
I do
Edward.
like to keep busy all the time, he sighed one day. And I do like company, especially children's company.
Cheer
Awkward
up, smiled
silence.
Edward. Sir Thomas eyed the newcomer doubtfully.
A what engine? A traction engine,
Explained Trevor.
I run on roads instead of rails. Can you take me to the harbor, please? Sir Topham Hatt has a job for me.
Yes, of course, replied
God,
Thomas.
there's so
but he was
many.
still puzzled.
There's so many awkward pauses between lines.
Workman coupled
God, it's
Trevor's
so
car to
awkward.
Thomas's train.
But you don't run on rails, puffed Thomas. I'm a traction engine. I don't need rails to be useful,
Replied Trevor.
You wait and see.
But shouldn't Thomas already know this? We literally, like, this kind of feels like Terrence the
When they
Tractor
reached the
all
harbor,
over
they
again.
found
You know, with
everything in
Thomas
confusion.
learning, that
Cars had
a
been
non-rail
derailed,
vehicle
blocking
can
the
be
line,
useful.
sto-
Like, I don't know, it's the same idea.
I'll
Oh wait,
soon
look,
show
there's
you
a
what
Jem
traction
Cole
engines can
on,
do.
Trevor there.
Trevor
Didn't
was
notice
as
him
good
there
as his
before.
word.
Oh,
To
oh, by
himself.
the way, what is this white stuff that Trevor is driving on? Like, what is that? Like, I want to know what it is both on set and what it's supposed to be in universe. Like, I don't think, like, what,
Later,
like,
Thomas brought Annie and Clarabelle to visit him.
like, I don't
Thomas
believe
was
there would
most
be just
impressed.
mysterious white goo at
Now I
harbors.
understand how useful a traction engine can be.
Like, yeah, look at that. And then
coaches
this
were full of
gravel
children.
stuff, like,
Trevor gave them
like,
rides
I
along the
wouldn't
harbor.
expect
He liked
mysterious
this
white
best of
goo
all.
to just be at harbors. Oh wait, look, there's the string. There's a string right there. And then there's the barge, Steve. But yeah, what is this white goo? Like, why would this be at a harbor?
He's very. I'll come and see you if I can, he promised.
The vicar will look
My
after you,
God,
and there's
another
plenty of
awkward
work for you now at the
pause.
orchard. Then he went happily to sleep in the shed at the bottom of the orchard.
I really like that ditty at the end. That's nice.
Was in the
Oh
yard
yeah, that's
taking off
right.
large
A random
supply of
season
coal.
3 episode included with I don't know
That's
what
the
it
third
is,
load
but
of
like
coal you've
the
had
original
today,
masters
Gordon,
of
said
series
James.
3
Some
episodes
might say
have
you're
this
being rather
ugly
greedy.
yellow tint
I'm an important
like
engine,
overlaid
replied
across the
Gordon.
footage for
Important
some
engines
reason.
need plenty of
Like,
coal, but I
why?
doubt if you would
It looks so
understand that, James.
weird.
Repair.
You know, it is kind
I
of
wouldn't
it
drink
is
too
kind
much
of
of that
jarring
water if I
going
were you,
from
Gordon.
the
It might give you
synthesizers
Said
from series
Gordon.
2
What's this,
to the more
educating Gordon
orchestral,
Day?
real
First
sounding instruments
James,
of
now
series
you
3.
talk.
It's
Big engines have big
it's
needs.
kind of
Little
off.
engines are
Like,
just annoying.
I don't know. It's
Don't
very
say I didn't
noticeable
warn
to
you,
me.
laughed Duck.
Also, the
That's what
whistle
I
sound
mean,
effects this
exclaimed
season,
Gordon.
I don't know how to
Two
explain
shiny
it. It's
tenders.
so...
Now, if I had 2 tenders,
I don't
said
know how to
Gordon,
really
I
explain
wouldn't
it.
need
It
to
just
stop so
sounds
often,
off.
And I wouldn't have to.
Oh god, again the yellow...
I'm not
the yellow
happy.
filter, it looks ugly.
I know, said Duck. It's
Ugh.
boiler rake.
Don't be vulgar.
Huffed Gordon. He backed down onto his train, hissing mournfully.
Wait, why doesn't the signal box there have,
Cheer up, Gordon,
have
said
text
Sir
on it?
Topham Hatt.
Is it true what Diesel says, sir?
What
Wait,
does he
Diesel?
say?
He's not
That
supposed to be
Diesel's
here.
taking over.
Blended cider I'll be.
I
Henry was
love
excited
that rendition
all
of
day.
Henry's theme.
One
And
day,
now
Henry
for the
wanted
titular
to
episode the
Percy was
DVD's
talking
named
to
after.
He was telling them about the time he had braved bad weather to help Thomas.
God, the echoed soundtrack
It was
again.
raining hard.
I forgot about the
couldn't see where
echoed
I was going,
soundtrack.
but I was standing
I
here
mean,
really
I know why
almost
this
nothing
episode
to
has an
mention
echoed
determination.
soundtrack. It's because that the only
Tell
other
us more,
DVD
Percy.
that this episode was featured on was
What are you engines
Best of
doing
Percy,
here? Hissed
but
Henry.
on that
This
DVD
shed is
it
for Sir
had
Topham
Ringo's
Hatt's
narration rather than
Go
George
away.
Carlin's.
I can't see a mine, said Percy. He didn't know that the foundations of the quay had sunk. Rails now sloped downward to the sea.
I find it kind of odd how
Stupid
Thomas and Percy
board,
don't
said
notice
Percy.
that the key slopes
He
down
made a
into the
plan.
water. But like, you know, in
One
the
day,
original book illustration,
will you give me a bump?
the
We
key
get to the
didn't
key.
actually dip into the
Cars
water
were asked
like
about
the
Benjamin.
text states.
They giggled and
It
chatted
does
about
state that in the text, right?
Driver
I'll
doesn't
look
go by
after
plan.
this. Oh my god, I hate the echoed soundtrack.
thought
It's
they
so
were helpful.
distracting.
I'll pretend
It
to
really
stop
does
at the
take
station.
me out of the
Cars will
episode.
push me past them,
Jeez,
because you cannot
it's so
trust
hard to
Percy.
hear the narration when you have like
Go on,
music
go
and
on,
sound
yelled
effects
Bob.
just
Percy,
piled
driver,
on
and
top of
fire
it.
off. Percy was frantic. That's enough.
Speak up.
That guy totally.
Percy was sunk.
Yep, he definitely has a broken tailbone after that. And then there's
dark when they
Diesel in the
brought
background for
floating cranes to rescue
some
Percy.
reason.
He was
So that was the Percy Takes the Plunge DVD, aka the Daisy VHS, depending on who you are and what you have. So, George Carlin's narration, it's good. It's good. I mean, there's not really a time where George Carlin would really ever let me down because he's my favorite Thomas narrator. I mean, I think just like the range in voices that was presented on this DVD in particular, and the fact that some of the character voices like Trevor or the Vicar, like that's consistent with James Goes Buzz Buzz. Like that's some great consistency right there. So, my thoughts on the episodes, Daisy. I do not like this episode. I'd have to say it's probably my least favorite episode of Series 2, because nothing happens. Like, literally nothing happens.
whatever is that rubbish?
It's just, Daisy arrives, she sulks and complains and insults the others, and then that's it. That's the whole episode. I mean, people say that Better Late Than Never is the weakest episode of Series 2, and the reason why people say that is because it's boring, it's forgettable, it's slow-paced, not a lot happens, but I have to disagree with that for a few reasons. Like, I mean, for one, like, the more people talk about the episode, the more I remember it. But there actually are some memorable things about the episode. One, the shots of the viaduct at the beginning of the episode are nice, as well as the viaduct theme itself, which was actually heard in a few episodes on this DVD. That aside, a few months ago, I rewatched the Better Late Than Never VHS, and I didn't feel like the episode was dragging or slow-paced at all. I felt like it went by quicker than I remembered it. Like, it felt like it was maybe 2.5 minutes. Like, that's how fast I felt like it went. Daisy herself, I do not like Daisy. I find her extremely unlikable. I hate to say this word, but, like, she's just such a bitch. I mean, maybe I don't like her as much as I do because she reminds me of Hit Era Emily, where she's just unjustifiably bossy and mean to everyone. It's not exactly for the same reason, of course. Like, something I wish they did was that, like, they adapted Bullseyes for Series 2 rather than Daisy. And kind of like what they did with Breakfan, where they had Donald and Douglas's introduction be at the beginning of that episode. I mean, of course, I know the reason why is because they skipped the missing coach, but like, I just wish that because like Bullseyes to me is a much better Daisy episode. Okay, I've talked about Daisy long enough. Let's move on to the next episode. Yeah, and Percy's Predicament, I think, is a much better episode. I mean, not a lot happens in it, but there's a crash, which at least is something. It's a step up above Daisy because at least something exciting and crazy happens rather than just nothing at all. But like, I mean, one thing there is criticisms I do have. One, I don't know why Sir Topham Hatt is blaming Percy for the crash. Like, I mean, Toby is the one that suggested the idea of him and Percy swapping jobs, so don't know why you ain't blaming Toby too, but whatever, sure, I guess that's fine. But then also with Daisy as well, I want to know, like, they seem to imply some sort of character development. Because, like, they mentioned Daisy worked hard after Percy's accident, which, I mean, of course, I want to know, like, what was the implied passage of time? Okay, so apparently Percy was up there for a whole day. Okay, that does answer my question. It's like they don't mention that in the episode, so yeah, I was confused. But then, but something else that I'm confused about is they mentioned, yeah, Daisy worked hard after Percy's accident, so where's the character development? Like, how does she go from being stubborn and lazy to being cooperative and hardworking? Like, imagine Tale of the Brave, like, with Percy's arc about learning to be brave, but without the scenes of him feeling scared. That's kind of what it feels like to me. And then also, the end of the episode mentions that Daisy shoot a cow off the line by herself, but since Bullseyes hasn't been adapted yet, we didn't see her fear of bulls or farm animals, so like, that arc is kind of undermined. It doesn't really mean anything because, we didn't see Daisy scared in the first place. But, those two things that I mentioned are nitpicks, and I still like the episode. Again, much better than Daisy. Whistles and sneezes? I don't really have much to say. It's funnier than I remember it. Yeah, I really don't have much to say on that one, so let's just move on. Say from scrap? I also don't really have much to say, other than I like the variety in character voices that George Carlin had. It's also the first episode in the show, and in the books too, that mentions scrapping, which would be a plot point that would be further developed later. A new friend for Thomas. I already mentioned that, like, it does feel a bit like a character regression when Thomas, for some reason, has suspicions towards Trevor, because, in Terrence the Tractor, he judges Terrence for his ugly wheels.
What ugly wheels you've got.
But then Thomas gets stuck in the snow and Terrence rescues him. And Thomas realizes, like, it's just kind of the same idea to me. Like, I guess it's not really the main focus of the episode. I do like the harbor set, though. It's very nice. Again, like, I have to wonder, like, what is this mysterious white goo? Like, what is that? Like, I really want to know, what is it? Tender Engines is an episode that I actually do have a lot more to say about. I mean, I do find its inclusion on this release to be kind of odd, because something I probably should have talked about earlier was because like the entire reason that that this release exists is because just to get the Daisy episodes on it. Because Rick Sigelkow, the executive producer, I think, of Shining Time Station, considered Daisy's design to be sexist with how feminine she looked. And so her episodes weren't allowed to air on Shining Time Station. It was also the reason why she didn't appear in Season 3. I guess they got over that by Season 4, but again, like a story for another day. You know, with every episode so far, I think it's justifiable as to why they would be on here. The Daisy episodes, since they hadn't been released prior, Whistles and Sneezes, while it did air on Shining Time by the time of this release, it hadn't been put on any VHS prior, so they just put it on here because why not? Same with the Trevor episodes. They were only seen on Shining Time Station prior, so it makes sense why they would put them on here. And then Percy Takes the Plunge after this one. It was only on Shining Time Station, so again, I think putting it on here makes sense. But then Tender Engines, it kind of feels like they just threw it on here because, well, the VHS needed 7 episodes, so sure, why not? I mean, it technically wasn't put on any VHS prior, so I suppose it makes sense. It just feels odd to have a random Series 3 episode put on here. I do understand, like, the drastic change in the story where, you know, when Gordon talks to Sir Topham Hatt, like, yeah, I definitely understand why they probably changed that. Because apparently this episode was going to be a lot more faithful to its Railway series counterpart, Tenders for Henry, where in the original story, Gordon talks to Sir Topham Hatt, who hears that steam has been abolished on the mainland, and Sir Topham Hatt tells him the dark truth that yes, it is true, steam has been abolished on the mainland. And this leads into Gordon becoming depressed, and that leads Sir Topham Hatt into bringing the real Flying Scotsman to visit Gordon to cheer him up. And, well, the Flying Scotsman technically does appear in the episode. You only see his 2 tenders, and the engine itself you see in this shot here is just Henry. The reason why only his tenders were built was that they just didn't have the budget to create the full model, so they just made his tenders. Yeah, I definitely get why they would change it so that way it's... Yeah, because, you know, Gordon asked the same question, but then Sir Topham Hatt gives a very different answer, which is, that would never happen on his railway, which, you know, it makes Gordon feel better about things. Like, it doesn't lead to him being depressed. Because if they kept that same answer from the books about steam being abolished, again, like, in the books, that's what led Flying Scotsman to come to Sodor and cheer Gordon up, but, like, how would you translate that to the show? So I think changing the answer to a more lighthearted one, well, one, makes it less dark for its target audience, which is children, remember that. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to me, and I think the episode is still good regardless of that. Because, you know, the plot about Henry being jealous of Scotsman's 2 tenders is kept. I still think it's an enjoyable episode regardless of the changes made, which to me are pretty understandable. Like, I understand why they made the changes that they made. And then Percy Takes the Plunge, again the titular episode the DVD's named after. I actually don't really have much to say about it. Yeah, I find this DVD to be a little fascinating because of, you know, like the reason why its VHS counterpart even exists at all, just to get 2 episodes not released prior out in the States. And, you know, it was just a matter of, oh, well, what episodes haven't we released on VHS? And there were just so many other episodes that they hadn't put out yet that they just put them on here because why not? And I just find it such a strange and random selection of episodes. And, you know, you may have noticed something. The DVD cover you see is not actually the official cover, and the reason that is because this is actually my own custom cover I designed myself. And I did this with several of my other Thomas DVDs I had that had covers I didn't really like, so I redesigned them to make them better. You remember what I said about the echoed soundtrack? You know, unlike Thomas Gets Bumped, you know, where, like, a lot of the episodes were already released on other DVDs, but they still have the echoed soundtrack on it. With Percy Takes the Plunge, they actually sourced the audio from other DVDs that didn't have the echoed soundtrack and put it on here. But, I mean, of course, the only ones that still do have an echoed soundtrack are Daisy, and Percy takes the plunge. I guess the only thing left to do now is give it a score. Maybe I have to give this a 7 out of 10, maybe? I'm kind of indecisive about a score, honestly. Because, like, this is an enjoyable DVD, and, like, considering there's only one episode that I don't like, I think that's quite the accomplishment. Because, you know, considering the last DVD I watched, yeah, I had really nothing but negative things to say. So, you know, this is quite a breath of fresh air. Alright, the next release I'm going to be looking at today is A Big Day for Thomas. Wait, why does this look like the Series 4 intro? Like with the text font used. Like it's the text font was like the same as the Series 4 intros on US DVDs. Once again, there are two title cards. And why was that so delayed? At least here Thomas actually, Thomas looks like he's sorry for Henry, unlike the Railway Series illustration where he's for some reason smiling.
They grumbled. Thomas took them to
Wait, did you see that down there? There was just a piece of track that just ended. There were no buffers, no nothing. I actually have a bit of a history with this episode. So, earlier this year, as part of a school thing, it was for job shadowing, and I went to a preschool. Completely unrelated, but like I noticed that ship in the background there. Because Knapford Harbor is right behind the station, like according to Series 2 concept art, right? Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, that I brought my big Railway Series book to read the kids some stories, and I got to read them some Thomas stories. The stories I read were Thomas's Train, aka this episode, Thomas and the Breakdown Train, and then the sad story of Henry. By the way, I am pretty sure that the close-up model that we saw in the Down the Mine pilot, I am pretty sure they reused that for Series 1. And look, you can see cranes in the background at the harbor there behind the station.
Thomas and Edward have worked the main line nicely, but I will let you out.
Are you sure, Topo? I know, technically in official episode order, the last episode and this one are not next to each other, but still. But wait, but then isn't that the reason why you brought Percy? So that way he could fetch the big engines coaches instead of them having to do it themselves? Also, what do they mean by they could play on the branch line for a few days? What do they mean by that? I don't get it. Something I do find kind of oh yeah, Annie and Clarabelle don't have their names on them. I kind of find it bothering to me that, like, on DVDs, on US DVDs, well, I mean, I'm not counting the early years since those have the UK dubs on it. I'm not counting that. I find it bothering that, like, I'm just gonna, the big engine strike arc, like the troublesome engine stories, Tenders and Turntables, Trouble in the Shed, and this episode, like, they're not, like, they're all on different DVDs, like, you can't watch all three on the same DVD, and the camera's shaking so much. The only release that I can think of that has all three of these stories together is Tenders and Turntables, which is exclusive to VHS. Oh yeah, look, I can see the sea in the back there. You know, that's actually accurate to the illustration. Even though I'm pretty sure the illustration is inaccurate with the location of the sea. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be on the other side of the line in that illustration.
You were clever to stop, replied Gordon.
Yeah, why'd they change that? Like, why does Gordon say you were clever to stop? Because in Ringo's dub, Percy's the one who says it, not Gordon.
I'm sorry I was cheeky, said Percy. You were clever to stop.
Because, Gordon was the one who stopped, so, like, why did Gordon say that in George Carlin's dub? Oh, hey! An over-released episode in the States. You know, like, there are so many DVDs that have this episode on it in the States.
was sitting
I don't
close to
even
the
know
line.
why they released
Thomas
this
liked the
episode so
policeman. He had
much.
been a
Like,
great friend of the officer
I
who had
mean,
just
it's
retired.
good, but like, it's not like
He
that
whistled,
good,
"Good
is
morning."
it?
I'm sorry, sir, said Thomas. I only said
Good morning!
The policeman pointed to Thomas. Where's your cow catcher? He asked. But I don't catch cows, sir. Don't be funny, snapped the policeman. If they stray
Wait, are
onto the
those
line,
logs in the back
you
there?
haven't, so you are
Why
dangerous.
are there logs there?
He wrote regular lawbreaker in his book.
What are you talking about? He already wrote in it.
Thomas
He already
puffed
wrote that in
sadly
his
away.
notebook earlier. Why
Tom
do they
had
zoom this
stared.
in so
Then
much?
he laughed. Didn't
Is
I
it
think of
supposed to?
before?
Is it
We
supposed to be
need a
because
tram
we're
engine.
focusing on
While I
Topham
was
or
on my
something? Because
holiday,
like,
I met a nice little
wait a
engine
minute.
called
Wait,
Toby.
Toby's.
He takes
Wait,
freight
not
cars from the
Toby.
farms, but the trucks
Thomas's
take
driver
over
and
most of
fireman
his
are on the
work and he
platform,
needs
but
a
then you
change.
see a figure inside of Thomas's cab.
He has cow
Like,
catchers and side plates.
like,
I'll
those
write to
two
his
men right next to the
superintendent
policeman, that's supposed to be Thomas's driver and fireman, right? So like, who's in his cab? It's come full circle with Daisy.
once.
Look, you
Asked
could
Toby.
see
The
Topham's
station
car
master wanted
in
to
the
use
back
her as a
there.
hen house.
I don't
Toby
really
made
know
silly
why,
cars
but I really
behaving
like
better
this
than
set.
Thomas. Hey, you!
Oh, fun fact, in Ringo's US dub, they don't change the line. They don't change the line for some reason.
First, Thomas
Have a
was
listen.
jealous.
Oi, you!
I actually showed my mom this episode, and she did not like seeing Topham without his hat on. She thought he looked odd without it.
All kinds of ships use the
There's the
harbor at the
Markland
big station by
engine.
the sea.
Oh,
there are passenger
actually-
ships, cargo ships, and fishing boats.
I also noticed this recently when I showed my mom this
Henry was
episode,
ready at 5
that
o'clock.
Henry has the
There was
pick up
snow
goods head
across.
code,
Men hustled
which
and
is
shouted,
one
loading
lamp
up the
on
crates
his
of fish.
left lamp iron.
Last ordinary.
God, this is so much better than the restored version. Not just with the cropping, but with the coloring too. It just looks so much more natural. It is a crime this episode was not on the greatest stories. I don't know how it
Yellow
wasn't.
signal. A freight train was waiting in the siding to let the flying kipper pass, and the driver and fireman were drinking cocoa in the caboose.
One of the few times
kipper
they
is
say
due,
caboose
said
in the
the
US
conductor.
dub.
But Henry lay dazed and surprised.
Poor
Sir
Henry.
Topham Hatt came to see him. The signal was down,
Oh, the
sir,"
music is
said
so
Henry.
sad. Like the flowers in
Henry
the tree
liked
there.
being- They often see him pulling the express. He does it so well that Gordon is jealous. But that's another story.
Yep, and it's a story I just watched on the last DVD.
I'm tired of pushing coaches. I want to see the world.
No,
The other engine didn't take
no,
much notice, for
no,
Thomas was a
let's
little
not see
engine
the
with a
world,
long
Thomas.
tongue.
Let's not literally see the world. You know,
Sorry,
why do these
Thomas.
DVDs
I've got
feel
some
like they
freight
go
cars to take
so
home tomorrow.
fast?
If you take
This is
them
the
instead of
6th
me, I'll
episode
push
on the
coaches in the
DVD. We
yard.
just have one more to
Thank
go.
you, said Thomas. That
God,
would
these
be
feel
nice.
like they go by too
Next
fast.
morning, Ed
Look how tall those guys. Oh my God! Look how tall these guys are.
Now the freight car. The conductor blew his whistle.
What whistle?
the freight cars
Hey,
weren't
I
ready.
hate to break this to you, but
they screamed.
you don't
Wait,
have a
Thomas,
whistle.
wait.
Look,
Thomas
I'm
wouldn't
broke.
wait. Come on,
Don't
come on.
shush.
He talked.
Comment
don't
below the
fuss.
reference
All
if
right,
you know
don't
where it's
fuss.
from.
Grumbled the
Oh wait, what's that in the back? What's that building in the back? Was that a
Thomas
shed?
began
What
going faster
what
and
was
faster.
that?
He
I
rushed
never
through
noticed
Henry's
that. I also love Thomas's theme, like here in this episode. It's really catchy.
Hurry, hurry, called Thomas.
And then there was
He
the
feeling
hand.
very proud.
You know, I think I'm enjoying
He
this
began
episode as
to
much
put
as I
on the
am
brakes.
because it's
We're
actually
stopping,
in
we're
sync,
stopping,
unlike
called
Best of Thomas, where for some reason the
No,
audio is out of
no,
sync with the
no, answered
footage.
car. He began to put on the brakes. We're stopping, called Thomas. No, 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 answered the cars, bumping into each other. Go on, go on. Before the driver could stop them, they had pushed Thomas down the hill and were rattling and laughing behind him. Before
And
the
again,
driver
this
could
part
stop them,
better
they
than the
had pushed
restored
Thomas
version.
down the
Oh,
buffer.
actually, yeah, those Topham
There,
shadow
watching
shots,
him
in the back of my head, I always wondered How did they achieve those
I brought Edwards
shots?
freight cars, Thomas
But thanks
answered.
to the Down the Mine
Why
pilot,
did you
like
come so fast?
with
I
like
didn't mean
this
to.
clip
I
here,
was pushed,
I finally
said
know.
Thomas.
I always
After
thought
pushing them
that a
about
crew
here
member
for a
just
few
like
weeks,
took
you'll
one
know
of the
almost
mini
as much
Topham
about them
figures
as
and
Edward.
like moved it in front of
Then
the
you'll
camera
be
or
a
something.
really
But then that kind of begs the question, how would they do it without like showing their fingers or whatever? And then there's Topham's car again. But now I know that they didn't actually use like any Topham figure. They just used, I guess, like a cutout of him on a metal rod. I don't know. But yeah, like now I finally know how they achieved those shots. I guess something I should have mentioned with Flying Kipper was, like, what do they use for snow? Like, do they use baking soda? Do they use flour? Like, what do they use? I'm sure they don't use sugar, but I'm sure for like frosty shots they probably use sugar. And again, story arcs being out of order. Cue the Toby the Tram Engine and Friends theme. I love those mountain backdrops. Oh, actually, I'm wondering this. You see that little marsh thing there? Something I'm wondering is, like, you know that, like, the opening shot of Thomas at the windmill? Like, what if you, like, turn the camera, like for this shot, like, you turn it to the left? Like, would you see the windmill? Likely not, but, I mean, who knows? That's just something I thought of. Like, what if this set, like, yeah, what if this set and that intro windmill set was like on the same set? You know, now that
But trams are electric, aren't they?
I mentioned the Tenders and Turntables
mostly.
VHS
This
earlier.
is-
Something I just thought about
please?
was that
That's
my
the
mom
top of
gave
that.
me the Tenders and
They all
Turntables
scrambled
VHS
to
as
Henrietta.
a gift. And then there's Topham's car in the back there. I
snorted.
knew this
He
goof,
was
but
proud
like
of
I
being
showed my
steam
mom the
trained.
goof that like this episode retitle is Toby the Tram Engine.
What is your
But
name?
on
asked
the
Sir
back of the
Topham.
Tenders and
Toby,
Turntables
sir.
VHS,
Thank
it's
you,
called
Toby, for a very
the episode
nice
is
ride.
listed as Toby the
Thank you,
Train
sir,
Engine.
said Toby. He felt better
I
now.
found that
This
so
gentleman, he thought, is a
funny.
gentleman who knows how to
Like,
speak
I don't,
French.
like, it was, oh yeah, and then there's that windmill shot, which is, yeah, like if we, if we turn the camera around, would we see Lower Arlesborough? But then, like, also apparently that set, like, that location is apparently on Toby's old line instead of Thomas's branch line,
All were sorry when they
which
had to
I don't
go
know
away.
why. Come on,
Sir Topham
everyone
and his family
associates that
thanked
windmill with
everyone.
Thomas's line.
The months passed. Toby had
Very
few
notable
cars
for this
and fewer
episode specifically is that there is a shocking lack of music.
Our last. Nobody wants me, Toby thought, and went unhappily to sleep.
These like this and the last DVD I watched in this video, they feel like they go by so fast. Like, I mean, at least I don't feel like they're dragging, so there's something. So, a big day for Thomas. Yeah, some people don't like this episode. Yeah, I do have criticisms too, which I'll get into in a moment. I might be repeating myself from my Thomas Gets Tricked video from last year, so if something I say here sounds similar to what I said then, well then, yeah, that's why. My opinion on this episode hasn't really changed much. I actually think that what this episode is trying to go for is really good. You know, at the beginning, Thomas says that we hear what Thomas's goal is, what he desires. He wants to pull trains like the other engines, and he's given a chance to do so. But because he's young and impatient and he doesn't really have any experience with pulling trains, well, he ends up leaving his train behind. I'll come back to that in a moment. And when he realizes his mistake, while he is upset about it, the important part is that we don't, when we make a mistake, we don't cry about it. We go back and try again. Which well, Thomas learns from his mistake, and he manages to pull the train fine. So, like, I think that, like, the moral of this story is pretty good. Like, it is good for its target audience, but yeah, where this episode kind of falls apart and doesn't really make sense is, like, how did Thomas really not know that he left his train behind? Nor his crew for that matter. You see Thomas pulling empty coaches at the beginning of the episode. Like, if he feels the weight of coaches when they're empty, surely he should feel a difference when they're full of passengers, right? Though, I mean, I guess that is kind of how a child is, just kind of oblivious to everything. Like, when they're overeager to do something. I guess that's what it's going for? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just a little bit unbelievable. I mean, I think the book version is a little bit more believable, like with the distance he goes. Thomas is at the station here in this illustration, but he leaves before he can be coupled up to the train. In this illustration, he gets stopped at the signal here, right next to the signal box. He actually didn't go that far, because if you were to somehow, like, turn the camera around, you would see the station right behind him. So Thomas only got as far as the yard entrance, which isn't that far from the station. In the show, he goes quite a distance before being stopped, which, I'm sorry, I don't believe. I don't really believe that. Like, there's no way he got that far without noticing. Some people say that this episode is something that the Sharon Miller era would do, or something that the Hit era would do. I mean, yeah, it is with, like, X characters given a job, they somehow screw it up, then they go back and do it again, and they magically do it perfect. Like, when they're given that second chance. I do see the parallel, but I have to disagree with that. And here's why. Like, the difference between this episode and Season 8 is that, this is Season 1. This is Thomas's first major character shift. Like, this is his first major character arc in the show. So there's no pre-established character arc that's gonna be retconned or something, like, if that makes sense. Because in Season 8, Thomas already went on this maturity arc. He should know these lessons about not being impatient or whatever. A big day for Thomas. This is just one part of a much bigger arc for Thomas in that season. And when you watch all of those episodes together, you see Thomas grow. Because, in Thomas and Gordon, Thomas was cheeky and rude, and he thought he was better than anyone else. But over the course of the book, he learns that he wasn't as clever as he thought he was. So yeah, he thinks he knows everything. He doesn't think he needs to learn. He thinks he's perfect. But in reality, he's rather inexperienced. The other engines know this, but Thomas thinks they're just teasing him. They're just making fun of him. But in reality, they were right. But again, over the course of the book, Thomas learns from his mistakes. I kind of feel like I'm poorly explaining this, but I'm kind of finding the words difficult to express what I mean. But hopefully you understand. Percy runs away. I don't really have much to say about this one. It's just the epilogue to the Troublesome Engine saga. So I don't know what to say. So I'm just gonna move on. Thomas breaks the rules, so, after feeling like I've watched it so many times, you would probably think that I'm sick of seeing this episode. But honestly, I still enjoyed myself watching. It's a good episode, but, there are still much better episodes out there. So, I'm just gonna move on. Henry's Special Coal, again, don't really have much to say about this one. And then Flying Kipper. Come on, this is a fan favorite. What else can I say other than what people have already said hundreds of times in the past? I mean, it's a great episode. The visuals are beautiful, the music is great, the narration's great. It's really good. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Something I guess I would like to mention is the crash. for the first major on-screen crash in the show, like, they played it seriously. Despite watching this episode so many times in the past, I mean, it still felt rather impacting on me. The action just speaks for itself. There's no narration, and you just hear the splintering sound effects and the loud thud when Henry lands on his side, and not a word is said. It's just so impacting. Like, I love that. And it is such a shame that later on that crashes and incidents were just played off as a joke.
The air in the balloon cooled and the balloon started to fall.
I really don't know what else to say. Everyone's talked about this episode. Everyone loves this episode. Let's just move on. Trouble for Thomas. I don't really have much to say about this one, other than it feels kinda odd because it's out of order. But, like, this is also, this is that continuation with, like, A Big Day for Thomas. People are always like that A Big Day for Thomas is like a hit era episode, but I don't hear anyone saying Thomas and the Trucks is like this, so yeah. Because Thomas is also given a job, but he screws it up. Toby the Tram Engine. I really love the sets for this episode. With the mountain backdrops in the back there, like, look at some of these sets. They're so nice. Like, I think that this kind of captures what Season 1 really is about. And Flying Kipper does this too. Like, its simplicity. I really enjoy its visuals. And also, like, the lack of music in this episode too is also quite noteworthy as well. Because, yeah, there's just a shocking lack of music. Like, yeah, you get these moments of just, like, there's no narration, it's just the ambient sounds. And, well, I guess some people could probably say that this makes it a little eerie, but personally, I don't mind it here. I actually really like it. Yeah, I might as well talk about the songs included, because for some reason there are 2 included. I think that I think the song choice that they had with Toby, that was an excellent choice. Like, playing Toby's song after a Toby episode, that was a brilliant choice. It's nice to see them improve from Thomas Gets Bumped, where they just threw on a song when there were better options, but I've already talked about that, so I won't go into further detail. Like, especially because, like, Thomas Gets Bumped, the DVD was released in 2006, and A Big Day for Thomas DVD was released in 2007. So it's nice to see them improve upon this. I love Toby. I love his song. It's a very nice song. A perfect song for Toby. Sir Topham Hatt. And I mean, I don't hate this song. It's good. But I don't know. It doesn't feel very sing-alongable. I don't know, it doesn't feel like you can really sing to it. I mean, I think Toby was a good choice, but really, Sir Topham Hatt? Like, why? Why did they even include 2 songs at all? I have no idea. Toby would have sufficed. I guess something that I'll mention now is the episode order. What is this order? I don't know why they couldn't have just had the episodes be in order. Why are they out of order like this? It doesn't take me out of the experience or anything. It doesn't make me enjoy it less, but that's really all I have to say. I enjoy every episode on the DVD. I think I like this more than Percy Takes the Plunge, honestly. It's a really good DVD. I enjoyed myself the whole time. I did not dislike any episodes. Something else, too, I would like to bring up is both Percy Takes the Plunge and A Big Day for Thomas, is that how fast they feel like they go. I think that's just the charm of classic Thomas DVDs. The perfect runtime, 4.5 minutes for each episode. I think the episode amount to 6, 7, maybe 8, and then 30 to 40 minutes long. It's just right. Like, I think that, like, yeah, 6, 7, 8 episodes, like, that's the perfect amount for a Thomas DVD. I guess a score is what's needed. Maybe like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10 for this DVD. It's definitely my second favorite DVD I've looked at in this series so far. I hope you all have a great day and have enjoyed this video.